Welcome to Micro-Histories. I'm your host, Jason Bischoff-Wurstle from the New Haven Museum, and today we are out at one of New Haven's ultimate gems, Lighthouse Point. Lighthouse Point today is known as a premier New Haven park, but it dates back to, clearly, the settlement and beyond of European settlers here forming the city of New Haven. This spot here was first known as 5 Mile Point, colloquially by the European settlers, because from this point behind me to downtown, the middle of the 9 squares, is 5 miles across the harbor. It's from this point here, while it was still known as 5 Mile Point, that, indeed, the British arrived. The invasion of July 4th, 1779 happened pretty much right about here on the beach as the British, in a pincer move, came in from this beach and came across the harbor at West Haven, eventually meeting in the center of New Haven. After the British invasion, the lighthouses took precedence here at this point, and it gained its name, Lighthouse Point. What stands behind me is actually the second lighthouse, and this lighthouse came about in the 1840s. 1847 it was completed, ran in operation for 30 years. Only 30, but it still stands. And then the new lighthouse, Southwest Light on the breakwater out in the harbor, was constructed and remained in use until recently. Lighthouse Point became an attraction in the early 20th century. First as an amusement park. The trolley would carry people from downtown and other neighborhoods and cities and towns surrounding New Haven here to Lighthouse Point, making it a resort destination along with the small hotels and businesses locally in Morris Cove that came together to make this the Newport of Connecticut in the late 19th century and early 20th century. The carousel dates back to the days of the amusement park. The amusement park lasted until 1924, was then sold and became part of the New Haven Park system, thus making Lighthouse Point Park. But during those days of an amusement park, aside from the carousel, aside from the lighthouse, aside from the boardwalk and the beaches, you also had a velodrome with bicycle racing, and you had a baseball park where Ty Cobb played, Babe Ruth played. They all came here to Lighthouse Point, under the massive grove here that used to exist to my left of trees. What happened to this grove of trees, you may ask? The hurricane of 1938 wiped out, changing the face of Lighthouse Point, eradicating some of its original buildings and the shoreline itself. Combined with a cut in funding as time went on through the Depression and after, the park languished and changed, and eventually by the 1980s, most of it was closed. But a push by the Friends of the Lighthouse Point Carousel helped bring the carousel back online, one horse at a time, through the 80s to when the carousel was restored, and an investment in the 1980s allowed by 1984 for the park to reopen with new facilities and a brand new pavilion, fondly known as the Pagoda, which was designed and built by the Yale School of Architecture. Today, this makes for a perfect day, any day of the week, in the summer and winter for that matter, here in New Haven. For Micro-Histories and the New Haven Museum, I'm your host, Jason Bischoff-Wurstle. You can find us at www.newhavenmuseum.org and live at 114 Whitney Avenue here in New Haven.